Hello, future game programmers, and welcome to another NDS tutorial. Last time we talked about backgrounds, and this time we are going to talk about sound effects. Let's get started. Alright, I love sound and sound hardware and music and all that. Probably my favorite things to program. So I'm super pumped to get started with these tutorials. Let's go. First thing we are going to need, well, actually, there's a lot of things we're going to need this time around. We are going to need a lot of files. And I've got one pulled up right here. There's another right here. These sound files, that is going to be for music. I'll probably have those names changed by the time I upload. Those are for music, audio streaming to be exact. But today we're just going to work on sound effects, and what you will see, we won't have these files yet. I'll show you guys how to make them. Same for that. Don't need that. And even the sound test, we don't need that. I don't even think we need the make file. I'll just leave it in there. Anyways, basically you'll have all these files, and what you want to do is you want to get WAV files, put them in your audio thing, and this is known as test.wav. See, it's a WAV file. It's 168 kilobytes. You generally want your sound effects to be kind of small because they need to fit on your 4 megabytes of RAM, because we're going to be loading them in and out of there. So once you have all your sound effects that you want, there's this handy little program, soundtodns.exe. And this program basically runs and uses this program, which comes with DevKit Pro. It's kind of hidden, but I've kind of moved it out here for you guys. But you use this one, and that's going to take all the audio in this folder and then run this from the command line and tell it and give it all the files that it needs to be converted, because we're converting sound effects. So we're going to do that. And as you can see, we got a couple more things showing up. We have a soundbank.h file, a soundbank binary file, and this print thing, that's just used to keep track of all the file names. It's kind of my little workaround for making this file to work. I actually have a tutorial made on how I did this. This is the second time I am recording this tutorial. First time the audio got deleted. Of course, the audio tutorial was the tutorial in which the audio didn't work. Very nice. Hi, Ben.
Hey.
I am recording a tutorial here. Yeah. That's Ben. He's my roommate. I'm back at college. You may have noticed that I am working on a new computer. Yeah. Exciting. So, we have this soundbank.h file, and this is what it looks like. You will notice that these three things right here you can ignore. All your sound effects are given like a rename define, all caps sfx underscore, and then your name, and then the name of the file itself in all caps. And if you had any like weird numbers, letters, or some other things like commas or dashes or something that it doesn't like, it'll replace those with underscores. You want to know what these are, because these are going to be how you are going to load and play your sound effects. So, exactly what is going on with the whole soundbank thing and Maxmod? Well, the idea is the soundbank holds all your sound effects in one binary format. And Maxmod, which is our audio player that we use, allows us to play all those sound effects and makes it really easy for us. So if you go and type in devkitpro.org/maxmod.org, you will find the Maxmod website, and they have Maxmod programming reference. And if you scroll down, there's even a DS programming guide. Ignore this top part right here. This is about the makefile things. I'll show you guys about that makefile in a little bit. Actually, that was the makefile that was sitting in that folder. That explains things. So, it tells you how to set up the program, how to include the sound bank, and then it shows you the functions down here, how to load the effect and how to play it. And then if you want to do custom setup, just kind of copy this code. It shows you everything. And there's more documentation on it. It's very easy. Okay, you guys should not have trouble with this. So, with that said, we now have our soundbank.h and our soundbank.binary. We are going to copy our soundbank.h file into our source folder, and we are going to copy our soundbank binary, and we're going to paste that into Nitro files. And apparently I forgot to delete that, so it's still there. Anyways, now close that out because we don't really need it. Let's get to coding. So Maxmod is kind of cool because it is included with DevKit Pro, and so we can use it pretty much right away. If you notice, that's why it's in devkitpro.org, maxmod.org. It's included. It's all together. This is a very powerful, coded entirely in assembly audio library. Works almost entirely on the ARM7 processor. When we're coding on the ARM9 processor. I'll go through like processors and stuff when I get into animation. But just know that basically the actual playing of the audio is being handled by the processor that is not running your code. You just tell it when to start, when to begin, when to load, when to unload, and then of course there's streaming, which I'll cover that in the next set of tutorials. That's a two-parter, I think. Yeah. I already made the first part of it. I haven't made the second yet, but I realized I was about to upload this tutorial and realized the audio wasn't working, so I am remaking it. Anyways, enough rambling on. Let's get started. We are going to include maxmod9.h. And this means it's running on the ARM9 processor. That's why it's at 9. It's already built into the Maxmod. It's already built into the ARM7. You don't ever see that code. It's hidden by a DevKit Pro default. But yeah. So we also want to include that header file that we made, the soundbank.h. You guys should know what header files are right now. It was just in this case it was just a bunch of defines. If you do need to change the header file to add like the if and if whole shenanigans thing, feel free to do that. Maxmod the Maxmod utility doesn't automatically do that for you, so you might have to make that adjustment if you're getting errors. But anyways, with that said, let's get on to our code. So, in our code, we need to load up the soundbank binary. And our soundbank is sitting in nitro files. Luckily, so we already have to have set up the nfsetroot folder to set up our whole file system before we can actually load it in. And Nightfox was nice enough to set it up as a root folder for all functions, libraries, whatever. So Maxmod can make use of that. And Maxmod has a little function called default init. And basically this is the whole initializer function, and we need to tell it where our soundbank is, and it's basically on the root folder, so that's all we have to do. So now Maxmod knows where our soundbank is, so it knows where to load it. So let's load some stuff. We use load effect, and then we use the little define things that we saw in the header file to address the different sound effects. SFX, and CodeBlocks is even super smart to know that it's that. Kind of cool. This is why I like coding in CodeBlocks, because it's super smart. Even though it has no idea what the whole project thinks, somehow it knows. If you're done with the effect, you can do unload effect, and that just frees up some RAM space. And basically, we've got our sound effect loaded, and to do it, we just need to do effect, and then sfx test, kind of like that. And basically what I have set up right here is every time a key is pressed, using that get key function, we play the sound effect. Very, very easy. So now let's save this file, and let's go into here, and if we double click compile, that's interesting. Very interesting. Well, I'm not exactly sure what happened to that with the whole Windows 8 thing. Yeah, I'm using a Windows 8.1 with this new computer. It works for programmers' notepad projects. I got that working successfully, but apparently this does not work, and I, for some reason, did not test that. Luckily, we have this NDS file which shows you the functionality, and I'm going to open it up. Why did it not like it? This is really weird, guys. I've never had this issue before. So I did install DevKit Pro on my expansion drive. DevKit Pro, Files Library, Tools. See if DesMe works better. Let's open it. And I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. I cannot hear it because I do not hear any sound when I am recording these tutorials, but if I go to View, or actually Tools, and View Sound State, I can see that there's audio coming through. That is good. So that means that it's probably working. I don't know for certain, but it sounds like it's working. So I'm happy about that. That pretty much wraps up my tutorial. If you guys are getting the weird compile thing, let me know. I'd like to hear about that. But I can tell you that that making a programmer's notepad project does work in compiling. I normally just like to use the compile batch file, but it doesn't seem like it's working anymore. Kind of a bummer. I'll see if I can find a fix for that. There's probably just some like script I need to install or something. I don't know. But yeah. I think that wraps it up for this tutorial. By the way, if you're wondering why everything is like super big and bloated, it's actually because my resolution got heavily reduced plugging in the HDMI. This laptop is like the Ultra HD, beyond Ultra HD even. It's a 3200 by 1800 resolution, so that's why some of these icons are super small and then some of this stuff is super bloated. It's all over the place. Anyways, hopefully this tutorial video worked out better than the last time. Sorry things are not working so well. This is the first tutorial I'm recording using this new laptop, and apparently I have a couple things I need to get working before I can make more of them. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up. See you guys in the next tutorial, which should already be made, and I will be uploading that sometime later. That one I still may have my old laptop, and that one, part one, it's a two-parter, and it covers audio streaming. Part one basically talks about how to get your audio in put together, and then part two will actually cover the code. So see you guys in the next tutorial.